Yo, what's up? What's happening? Y'all know what's up. Y'all tuned into one of the dopest podcasts. Y'all gonna tap in, man. Go and subscribe. Most of all, ring that notification bell too, man. If you like the content,
Yes, sir.
and you know what I'm saying, you be notified every time we drop some fire. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, man.
We got the dads up in here,
Yes,
as
sir.
always.
We in the building.
You
Back.
feel, man?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Same old thing, bro. Different day.
Different day.
How you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good, man. Can't complain, man. One day at a time, right?
One day,
That's
one
Make
step.
every day count, right?
That's
Gotta make
right.
it count.
That's right.
Each of them days, bro. So
Yeah. I got shout out my daughter too. I told her I was gonna shout her out. It's her birthday this week. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Shout out Lily, man.
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
you know.
How old is she? How old is she, Johnny?
She about to be 10 years old, bro.
What?
She about to be 10, bro.
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah, time be flying, man.
10. I remember
Yeah.
when y'all just had her.
Just had
I
her,
went
bro.
to the hospital, bro. I
Yeah.
could see that day right now. That's
Man.
crazy. She 10.
10 years old, bro.
Shout out Lily. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
You already know.
Bro.
But who got up in here, Joe?
Man, we got a good one today, y'all. I'm telling y'all tune in with your ears open, your eyes open, man. This is it's a good one we got going on. My good friend Megan. I've been knowing Megan since I was like 5 years old. No lie. Her grandparents own Optimal Christian Academy in Compton, right on Palmer and Poinsettia, between like Long Beach Boulevard and Poinsettia over there.
That's
And
a
I,
real popular school in Compton.
Yeah,
too, like.
yeah, it's a staple in Compton for real. So actually, I started going there when I was kindergarten till like 5th grade. And so I met her siblings, it's like a whole family business that they got going on there, man. And that's an inspiration to the community of Compton. Though.
Sure,
You know, the
yeah.
whole family running it. It's been going on, going strong since long as I can remember. You know what I mean? Since I
Some
was
positive shit in Compton.
in
Some
the
positive
city,
shit.
man.
You
And
feel
a lot
me?
of great people came out of that school too. So man, it's a shout out to the German family, right? For you know what I mean, having that local hub in our city.
And
you
that
know,
impact,
that
impacted the
impact for real,
community,
right in the
yeah,
middle,
for sure.
right in the heart of
For sure.
Compton. So
Isn't it is it a private school?
it's a private school.
Okay.
It's a private
Okay.
school. So, you know what I mean, when
We'll get
parents
into
that
that.
was able to kind of like afford a little bit, it's not too pricey, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean, it's still, you know, private school. So yeah, Megan, been knowing Megan since I was kindergarten to 5th grade.
Little tadpole.
Yeah, man. And we kind of like grew up together. Her family, her moms, dads, cousins, everybody. And she grown up to be a beautiful, great like LMFT, right?
Yeah.
Licensed married family therapist. And without further ado, Meg the Therapist is right here, man.
Shout out to
Meg the Therapist. Not the stallion, Meg the
Meg the
Therapist.
Hey, don't let me. And she's a principal, right? By day.
Keep going. Yeah, keep
Therapist.
going.
We gonna
Keep
keep
it
going.
off.
Right?
Keep
She's
going.
a principal by day,
What else?
therapist by night, all kind, everything. She does it all. So
Damn.
shout out to Meg, man.
Shout out to Meg. You doing great things.
Thank
You doing
you. Great things.
I got a question before we really kick it off. How do you cope with your life is dedicated to other people? How's that? How you feel? Like when you get time for Meg?
I'm trying to be better about making time for me. So I just finished school. I'm about to start a doctoral program. But in between that, I'm trying to make sure that like my weekends, I make the most of the time with my son. My friends been joking. We have a group chat. Like our whole friend group from kindergarten, we still kick it.
Yeah.
So everybody been making jokes about like making back outside now. So I'm trying to be outside on the weekends, do fun stuff, find my balance and all that.
That's right.
So
Right. So yeah. So Megan, she and the one thing we talked in the past about my boy Larry Love that recently passed.
Rest in peace.
He was a part of our group. So it's crazy because it seemed like, you know, everything happens for a reason, bro. But when he passed, it kind of like reconnected everybody that kind of went on, and you know, we all living our lives, our separate lives, but we all was able to come back together and really connect and spend the time that we've been missing. You know, even though we all parents, kids, and all that, we able to really come back and reconnect. So I think that's a blessing in itself. So yeah, man, I'm glad to have Megan here. Like I said, LMFT, and she's sexual empowerment therapist. So
yeah, so I'm working on being a certified sex therapist.
certified sex therapist.
How do you get that?
That's what I was just about to say.
How do you
Like,
get
We have to like
Talk
do
to
this training. So I'm working on the training right now. It's like a 1.5 year training, and you do hours.
Is it hands-on training?
That's
That's crazy. Talk to me.
You do have to sit and like specifically have sex therapy sessions, but it's not like super hands-on. But
okay.
definitely we talk about sex with our clients, and you have to learn all the ins and outs about the human anatomy and everything. But there's a board that like you have to apply for a certification through. So
Yeah.
I'm working towards that.
How did that come about though? Do you just love sex?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you have to put in some sex hours. Then you be like, for a person to tap in with you to come to the society.
So, well, how did it come about that I wanted to do it?
Yeah, is it just like, you know, I love sex.
I love couples and I love love
Okay.
and I love sex. And so then it's like combining two things that I like to talk about together. So like therapy and sex. And then, I mean, just hearing the stats, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the stats about how many women just are not having orgasms. And it's because they don't know how to talk.
Yeah, tell me the stats.
It's not good. I want to say it's definitely less than 20% of women
So most of
have
our we
ever
missing the
had an
point.
orgasm in their life. Yeah, most
In their
women are
life?
not orgasming. Yeah.
Damn.
Most women are not.
Whew,
And so definitely I want to help more women have a healthy and happy sex life.
Right.
And help men to realize like this is how you can be better. So that she can have a healthy and happy sex life. So
But is it just about the pleasure of the woman? What about the man too? Because
men, recently I found out that men fake it too, and now I did not realize that like men fake it.
I ain't never faked it.
I have.
Yeah, that's new knowledge to me that men fake it too. But I think people are weird about talking about sex.
Like, is it to get out of there? Like, what's like?
Like it's just like you know what I'm saying? It's like mental, but at the same time, if you just not in like it's probably weak too. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like you going. You
Like,
trying to
like
catch
what you mean?
one.
We like dry? Like
I mean, just like you ain't dry. It could be dry. It's just weak, bro. You know what weak? You ain't never just like weak.
No.
It's like it is what it is. Like,
I don't
and
know,
then you
like,
just you trying to catch it,
sure.
and then it's just like, bro, it's not there. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, man,
you basically like you rushed it. It was you gotta get. You know what I mean? That probably wasn't right for the time. You feel me?
Probably wrong time, wrong person.
Yeah.
You got to connect.
it's
Like you were
definitely
saying.
mental.
Like, I remember. I just recently heard about soul ties in regards to your sexual partners and stuff. So tell us a little bit about soul ties. I never heard about it before.
That's some
Never
crazy.
heard
That's
about
some
it
shit right
So-
there.
I just recently heard
I
about
think it's
it.
maybe a little bit of chemical stuff connected with it too, but it's more of like a spiritual thing. I do believe sex is like something that's supposed to be sacred and spiritual. It is a spiritual component to it. People have used it in worship centuries of years ago. But yeah, the idea is that every time you sleep with someone, you're connecting with them on like a spiritual level. And so that is why sometimes women's or people's personality change after you get them some. Because now they're like, no, this is mine. I live here. Where are you going? But yeah, you get attached to that person on a chemical level. When the first time you sleep with somebody, there's this whole hormone that releases in your brain to help you attach to people. So for women, we release it at a higher level than men do.
Okay.
But we attach. It's supposed to help us to procreate and make babies with people. But you know, people don't just have sex for babies. People have sex for pleasure too. But
So
yeah.
I'm not to cut you up, but are you saying this as like your first time, and then like it expands to make you connect with people like you talking about after your first
so the
time?
first time it's a big rush. Most girls can't remember their first time because it was you got such a huge release out of it. That's why we do it again, even though the first time a lot of times is not great. We were just like, it's the first time. But yeah, you get a big release. And then after that, it doesn't ever release as much as that first time, but it still like releases. So that's why sometimes when you break up and then you're like, okay, let's just double back and have sex. And now you're all attached to each other again. It's that soul tie bringing you back to that person too. You're connected to them on a spiritual level. You feel like you get attached to them.
Right.
Same way if you sleep with somebody and they're struggling with like depression, anxiety, whatever they're struggling with, all of a sudden now you feel sad when you get up in the morning and like their stuff is rubbing off and becoming your stuff because they leaving their stuff in you. Yeah, it's a lot. So you gotta be careful who you out here
Right.
connecting
you
with.
can't just be out here just
Connected
sleeping
with
it.
everybody.
Connect them with misery. Just
Yeah. And now you struggling because they struggling.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah.
just to piggyback a little bit, because I have a son that's a teen. We're approaching them years. You know, I don't encourage him to do so or nothing like that, but we know things happen. So is that the reason that we see these changes after children might lose their virginity or young teens or whatever the case
You
is?
said that walk, that chest.
And we can just tell, we can notice, okay, they moving different and
They
things
move
like that.
different. It's a big part of it. Mind you, teenage years are weird. Like, your hormones are going crazy. Your brain's like trying to figure out what you got going on. But yeah, you throw in sex and love. Think about like Romeo and Juliet. They're ready to kill themselves because they wanted to be with each
They
other.
killed this.
Right.
You've never loved anybody the way you've loved your teenage love. Like, it's intense. It's because you've had this big rush of hormones. You just lost your virginity. It was the first person. You never felt nothing like this before.
Right.
And you're just attached.
Right.
And you don't have nothing else to compare it to. It's the best thing ever.
But what about the people that's just anxious to lose their virginity?
Yeah, like,
And they just like, I don't care.
that's more like us. That's males.
That's
we
more
want to
like
throw it away the
young
first day we walk out. Like,
Any opportunity we get.
I throw this motherfucker out 2 months.
From my understanding, girls, we have that hormone release. Men, when it comes to sex, you're more visual. And so, like, you start to build your highlight reel in your head. And so you start remembering those things. So the bigger your highlight reel gets, the more, like, excited you are about it. But just think about, like, culturally, there's so much associated to sex in men, right? Like, oh, you're a man now because you got some. Like, you walk different because you got some. And you can brag to all your friends. So culturally with men, it's like, oh, you got hair on your chest. Girls, it's like, you don't really tell nobody that you did it. Just you and your homegirls. You don't want anybody to label you like nothing.
Yeah.
It's seen differently.
I want to ask y'all this, and I know y'all currently in relationships, and so am I. So we're not gonna get deep into it like that. But I'm saying, do y'all remember the first time? Well, of course y'all remember, but do y'all remember the changes that y'all experienced with yourself after y'all lost y'all virginity?
I feel like I was the coolest nigga to do it. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I probably felt change. A relief.
Yeah, I feel like
I feel like it was kind of
pressure.
like the
Yeah, like
relief
I
stuff.
finally get this monkey off my back.
I
You
think
feel
so
me?
too.
Right. Because like when you younger, it's feel like, damn, I ain't gonna never get none. Like I'm gonna just be a virgin my whole life, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then when you
Touch the
finally
cat.
get, I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Nah,
I ain't gonna
you
never
know
touch the cat.
Right, bro. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I was when I was around that age.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I feel the same way.
Because when I found out, when I lost mine, that's when I found out, like, oh, it's cracking.
Yeah,
Like, oh, it's
Yeah.
hold on,
Yeah.
it's going on. This been going on the whole time. Oh,
Missing out this whole time?
let me jump in. Like I went in head first. No
Right.
disrespect. I mean,
Right. Now let me ask you, as a woman, think about the first time when you lost your virginity. How did you feel afterwards? Did you walk different? Did you talk different? Did you dress different?
I was feeling myself. And you can tell me I wasn't going to marry this man now because he was going to be my husband.
Okay, were you influenced?
I was
To lose your virginity.
influenced because I remember I was going down south with my cousins. They're all older than me. We was going to Alabama, wasn't nothing to do but hook up with boys and party. And they were all like, "You're still a virgin, Megan? Like, what's wrong with you?" And I was so embarrassed. By the time I came back, I was like, "We need to do it. Like, we have to do it. I got to call my cousin while I'm doing it to prove it." And it was the dumbest thing. But halfway through, I'm like, "All right, I got to call my cousin because she don't believe me that I'm really doing it." And so we're like, yeah, this is really weird situation. But yeah, I was super pressured into like
you was
taking
on
that.
tricky time.
Man.
And
Call my-
I remember it was New Year's Eve. Like we started off at church service, and then his mama took
Coming
us
from
home
church.
because we said we was tired. And so then she took us back to the house so we can rest, and she went back to church.
See why I don't go to church?
No,
They
man,
be trusting them little boys like, oh, they
Leave.
good. Let me have them around my
I'm gonna let them go to sleep.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
How she gonna let them go to sleep together? Like,
She trusted us. I went to private school all my life, good Christian girl.
Right.
them ones be ready. Can't wait.
Okay,
That's what-
so post losing your virginity.
I was feeling myself. I was feeling myself because how he reacted to me after. Like after that, I could ask for anything, and so it was like, oh, like I got the power in this
See his
situation.
power.
And yeah, so after that, and I had my older cousins in my ear, like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and so then it just became this like favorite pastime. But yeah, I was definitely feeling myself. my friends were kind of like, Megan, Tonisha is my best friend in high school.
Wow.
She's a good girl compared, like we were opposites. But yeah, I was feeling myself.
Yeah, caught in the web.
In the way, wild times.
So how do you separate that being a therapist now, but like just knowing, okay, I'm sure a lot of young females feel themselves after and they start getting things from certain men and everything like that. But that's not necessarily the good route to just go and use that in advantage. So as a therapist, from you understanding that, and as a therapist, what do you actually kind of like, what would you say to the young women?
I had a pretty positive experience as far as like, okay, I feel positive about myself after. A lot of girls don't feel positive about themselves after, or they got pressured into it by a boy and they didn't really want to do it. So whenever I talk to young girls, I'm not gonna be so naive to say like everybody waits till you get married. And we do talk about the benefits of it, like why you could wait. But it's more so like you do it when you feel like you're ready, like when you're empowered to do it, not because somebody forced you into it. And then when you do it on your terms. Make sure you get yours. Make sure you say what you like. Make sure you say what you don't like. So I'm all about like, I want you to be empowered when you finally do it. And that when you do it, you do it because you want to do it, not because somebody pressured you into doing it.
Right. Most definitely. I agree with that. That's a strong message right there.
Right. And as far as sexual empowerment therapy, how can it benefit couples?
So like I said earlier, the percentage of women getting there is extremely low. But sex is an important part of a relationship.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a way for you to attach to your partner, especially if one of you has a physical touch love language, right? Because sex means a lot more to you. But if you are in a relationship where you can't speak up for yourself in the bedroom, then I'm pretty sure you're not speaking up for yourself in the other areas in your relationship as well. So they all kind of tie in. Most of the time when couples aren't happy sexually, they're not happy outside of the bedroom too. It just kind of like shows up in the sex department.
Right.
So it's important to be able to say, I like when you touch me like this. I don't like when you touch me like that. To be comfortable to try new things with your partner. Because I'm not going to sit here and say like people don't cheat because the sex is bad. People cheat for a multitude of reasons. There's a bunch of reasons why you want to make sure you have a good sex life. The communication, the connection, the vulnerability, and the power that comes from knowing that like I'm having really great sex with my partner. They like it. I like it. So yeah, it's big for me for couples to be empowered, especially now with women being more empowered in 2022. It's a big deal.
So for those, how would you suggest a male or female spark that conversation of like
Yeah,
the
like,
sex talk? Like
how
would that even come up? Like,
Right.
Men can't have an ego in this because it's not just about
it's
you.
hard. It's hard not to. You know what I'm saying? Like
You have to be open and honest and okay with her being like, you know what? Nah, yeah, I'm not feeling it. And you gotta be able to take that. Like it might hit you in your chest. Take a deep breath.
If it's like I'm not feeling this, try this. I can feel it. You feel me? But I'm not feeling this.
I'm not feeling it. Wasn't great. Yeah, but her being able to say, okay, I don't like it. But a lot of times girls don't say anything because they're trying to protect your ego. We don't want you to feel bad. And now you out here looking for somebody else because we made you feel bad. So we don't say anything at all. But it has to be like, all right, coming into the beginning. So don't just have the sex talk when you're having sex. Have it over dinner. Like, over out at dinner, let's talk about it. Or we're watching a movie and I want to ask you, do you like that? Or whatever. Like, have those types of conversations.
Right.
And after sex, ask, like, did you like that? Be honest with me. That was new.
Right.
You want me never to do that again? I won't ever do it again. But I think the biggest thing is trying not to be defensive. But again, sex and relationships crossover. Defensiveness is, there's like these 4 horsemen to relationships. And if you see them in your relationship is pretty much doomed.
So
but,
the 4 horsemen of a relationship.
Yeah, so one of them is defensiveness though. So being defensive in a relationship combined with the other 3 horsemen can kind of like set you up for your relationship for you to be on the path to be divorced. So defensiveness in the bedroom, defensiveness anywhere is going to shut you down. So if you feel it, you got to be like, all right, calm down. Why am I so triggered by this?
Yeah.
Right.
I got to be able to hear this.
You got to be receptive.
Yeah.
What are the other?
like, yeah,
what's the other
that's
three? Tell us the other three horsemen.
Criticism, contempt, stonewalling, which is like shutting down on your partner and just not responding anymore, or walking away, leaving the room, all that, and then the defensiveness. So all four together is like you need to get in couples therapy ASAP.
That sounds like a gang some men do, right?
Sounds like it, cause it sounds like something.
It sounds like a lot of things that men do, but it's really attachment style stuff too, right? Some people have an avoidant attachment style. And so if you're an avoidant attachment person, you're going to shut down. You're going to be defensive.
If you have an avoiding attachment?
Yeah, avoidant attachment. Those four attachment styles. But avoidant attachment styles, a lot of men do have avoidant attachment style because they can't handle the arguing and the fussing and the complaining. But a lot of women have avoidant attachment styles too. But you see it more prominent in men because men are more likely to shut down and be overwhelmed.
There's a lot of sassy men out here now, though, too.
Yeah. A lot more further, a lot more verbal, but yeah. So stonewalling is shutting down is more, but I try to explain to women, it's not that they just not trying to hear you. It is like really a physical response. Like you physically feel like, I can't do this anymore. You doing too much. You start to feel anxious in your body and you're just like done.
Yeah, because they'll probably be like, I don't want to say nothing that's too crazy. I'm trying to... I ain't trying to.
And that's when she'll be like, he said the worst thing to me possible. And it's like, he said it because he just wanted you to stop.
Right.
Not because he really meant it, but he just needed you to back off and you wouldn't back off.
That just opened up something new right there.
Right. And now we're like triggering each other back and forth. And so that's why you see it's one of the four horsemen.
Right. So what are some positive outcomes that you've seen, like personally, in a couple going to sex therapy? What have you seen, like?
I've seen couples come in initially and like don't even want to sit next to each other, like don't want to touch.
Like they just fed up.
They're just done. And once they're able to start like communicating and being honest with each other, I tell everybody who comes to sex therapy or couples therapy, it's gonna be a point in it that's really hard because you gotta like go through it to get to the good side. But once they get through it, I've seen couples come out and like, okay, yes, I do want to bring another person into our bedroom, or yes, let's go have like our sex weekends, or like they're more
sex
connected.
Weekend?
What's that? What's that?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about sex weekend.
I encourage my couples, especially the ones who have kids, to make sure that you take some time to yourself often. So whether that just be a staycation and you go to a nice resort and it's all about like we're connecting in a romantic way, but also we're smashing. Like it needs to be a lot of that over the weekend because kids can kill your vibe, and you need to reconnect.
Them hating ass
Kids can kill your vibe, and you forget each other. You
freely.
forget that you're more than a mom, that you're like still a sexual being. You're not just somebody's like caretaker.
Right.
And sometimes as a dad, there's all the pressure of being like the good dad and the provider and the protector, and you get wrapped up in that. But I tell people, remember, like them kids is gonna be gone, and y'all just gonna have each other in a few years.
Right.
You don't want to wake up and be like, I don't even know you.
Right.
Like, so
This
yeah.
pandemic probably showed people that
A lot of people went to couples therapy during the pandemic.
Because you was around that person, you had to be around that person.
You had to be stuck, and
all
then
the
they
time.
realized, like, I don't even like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit crazy. You find out so much.
Yeah.
Like,
Just because you be at work all day, you come home.
And y'all got a system.
Ain't no
kids going from 7 to whoop-de-whoop.
It's like y'all got a system.
Right.
And the pandemic was like you had to talk to people, you had to be in the same space. And some couples, a lot of couples were like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Right.
So how did you do during the pandemic? Did you have you still come in during therapy, or was it all?
So we actually switched to telehealth. So telehealth for me has been great because my life is so busy. And a lot of people like telehealth. So they just log onto their computers and we log on. They'll be on their lunch break. I've had clients at home taking down their braids, rolling the blunt during session. Like,
that's dope.
So it's easy for people.
Right. Somebody ain't really get their element. They in their element.
Yeah. The only time where it's been hard for people is like if they're in a house full of people And like, I want to talk about the person that's in the next room.
Right.
And it's like, all right.
See,
now
with
we
me,
gotta
that's
talk
easy
about
because I like awkward situations.
You like awkward
Yeah, I
situations.
thrive. I thrive in awkward
awkward
situations. Yeah,
situations?
what, man? I love being in the room.
Why do you think that though?
I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I like the feeling when people know it's like thin in the room. Like, oh, it don't make no sense to me. Like when everybody been passive aggressive so far, something I can be in the room and talk about somebody I don't like right to the next person. Like, yeah, this nigga's a bum. like, you feel me? That doesn't affect me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm stating my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have nothing to hide. I'm not afraid of you or nothing. So you know what I'm saying?
right,
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you to your face that how I feel about you.
Yeah.
So them awkward situations, I love them. Like,
So I got,
smile. All you my boy though, but you know what I mean. You know you suck. Like you feel me? Like you know what I mean? Like what? I'm not that type of person. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. I feel
So,
it.
so I got a
feel it.
question for you, Megan. So what led you down this? What made you want to be a therapist and particularly a sex therapist? Like,
Yeah.
what led you down this path? You think?
So initially, I just wanted to be a teacher because, you know, the family, the school,
Family, school.
it made sense.
Right.
And then when I got there, because I wanted to help people. So I grew up in Compton, and the neighbors next to me, everybody's like on drugs, kicking it, outside gangbangers. We've all gone through similar situations. So
What part of Compton you from?
I'm on the south side.
Okay, yeah.
my
Oh,
neighbor.
okay, yeah. All
It's
right,
my,
man.
it's my neighbor.
So-
Yeah, for sure. all right.
My mom was on drugs, and my dad died when I was 15.
Oh.
So
Mm.
I was going through a lot as a teenager, and I'm like, all right, I want to help kids. I want to help people get through stuff. So I'm going to be a teacher. I became a teacher, and I'm like, okay, this is really not helping the situation. It's really not the kids that's the issue. It's their parents. And then so from there, I wanted to be a therapist. And then in doing that, I realized I really like couples therapy. A lot of therapists don't like couples therapy. Love couples therapy. And then I love sex. Sex is interesting for me. I like talking about it all the time. And so then I decided to specialize in that. So my specialty is couples with trauma in their backgrounds.
Okay.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
So if you have trauma in your life growing up, or even trauma that you experience as an adult, you're going to bring that into your dating relationship. We set our templates for how we love people and how we accept love based off of what we saw our parents do and what our parents did to us. And so that's how we decide like what's okay and what's not okay. If you have any type of like sexual abuse, physical trauma, abandonment, all that's popping up in your relationship. And so a lot of times couples break up not because they couldn't be together, but because their trauma is stopping them from connecting the way they need to connect.
Yeah.
So my thing is helping them to be like, this is your trauma. Let me help you heal from that within this safe place in your relationship. Let me show you your triggers. Let me teach you about your inner child. And then like we can move forward. Because if I just give you couple skills, but you still got trauma in the background, it's not gonna work.
Yeah. Right. So what about the ones that's not open to being open in their relationships? Like, you know, I got past trauma, but it's like, you know, so what the fuck that's going on?
Yeah, I don't want
like
to talk about
venting.
that shit.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I don't want to go back down this road.
Oh yeah,
I definitely had clients like that where it's like, it's so triggering for them that they don't want to talk about it. And that's okay. If you don't want to talk about the specific trauma, you don't have to. But we do have to talk about the symptoms of it and how it's showing up in your relationship. You don't got to tell me what exactly your mom did to you, what exactly your dad did to you. But you have to be able to identify like, oh, this is this. And this is how I cope with it. This is how I can move past it.
What if your mom never did nothing crazy to you? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Your mom may not have done it. But also, I don't know your drama. I don't know your situation.
No, not my situation. I'm just feeling like
But there's a lot of
some people like, you know what I'm saying? Like be so like, oh, because
Like you said, when you was like, nigga, I got older and I was tripping.
I was tripping. Like, you
know what I'm saying?
I used to
Like,
be upset with my mom because she kicked me out. You feel me? But I was 23 years old.
It was time for you to go.
Exactly. Like, you feel me? Exactly. Like, exactly. Like, exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? You start thinking, like, most of my stuff as a kid, my trauma or something was basically, I probably put by myself.
And we talk about that, right?
Yeah.
You talk about that. Some of the stuff you brought on yourself. Even like women have
I
relationship
grew up
trauma.
with a fucking COVID.
I chose that man. Like you chose that man.
Right.
That doesn't mean you don't have trauma. You chose him. You walked into it.
Mm.
It was still a traumatic situation, and you left with scars.
Yeah, you just gotta get over that
Now you
situation.
just gotta get over what you did. Own up to your part in it. And some people don't like to own up to their part.
And no, some people are not. Everybody not the same.
Everybody not open though, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like me, like, you know, I'm not gonna sit up here. I don't have no secrets. you ask me, I'll tell you. But at the same time, bro, I'm not an open book.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Like,
I'm not
just
gonna
going
reel
out
off
here
on
just
you.
like, wearing my trauma or whatever on my shoulder, or just feeling, because it's like, my thing is like, bro, I'm not looking for, but I have my people I talk to, and everything like that you open up to, but I ain't about to go out here and just post me crying like I'm going through this or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
But with your partner.
I think
Yeah.
it's
With
black
your
men
partner,
naturally
with someone
defensive.
that's safe, yeah. So what
We always
happens for
gotta
a lot
defend
of black men,
ourselves.
and I can't speak specifically for you, but a lot of black men I've seen, they probably had great moms. They've had great moms. But there's a weird dynamic that happens between black men and their moms too. And that shows up in relationships. She could have been a great mom.
Like
but
how?
if you guys were enmeshed, or like, the lines weren't where they should have been, that could show up in your relationship, and you don't even realize that, like, you were low-key traumatized by your mom because you just thought your mom was being a great mom and you were being a great son trying to, like, support her and be there for her. But there's certain things you're not supposed to have to do as her son. And you did. And now it's
I didn't have to
issues.
do that. That's why.
Well, not used to, but like things like
know,
that
that's what I'm
pop
saying.
up
Like,
for people.
like some of those situations, I got to be a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't know about no fucking grown up
Right,
shit. You know what I
right,
mean? I
right,
got to
right,
be a
right.
kid. I wasn't in no grown up business.
And some
My
people,
mom
it's
was a
just
fucking wife. I didn't know anything about this shit. You know what I mean?
the way their moms fussed at them, like, made it so, or the idea of, like, men can't cry. So, telling boys, like, stop crying, you're a boy, like, get up. Like, those things. You can't talk about your feelings like that. Like, get up, move on,
Right,
like, suck
right.
it up. Or your mom being somebody that, like, fusses all the time and just, nah. And then you get with your wife and she's, like, super critical too. And now you wondering why you respond so heavily to her is because your mom was like that too. And it's a little bit triggering because it takes you back to, like,
Yeah,
that
but that's
place.
also like us, our fault too, because we're seeking somebody like that. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're not seeking the opposite. You knew.
You
She
seeking
reminded
what
me-
you know. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. I feel you.
And I wanna just go back a little bit, because I want to ask this question to you.
Yeah.
With you having a young son, do you ever reiterate that to your son? Like, come on, bro, don't cry, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Nah.
That's not what we do.
I don't.
Any situation, like, is it any situation that you ever felt like that?
My son, because I was in a part where I don't, like, I ain't cried in a minute since my boy passed, probably the last time, but I'll tell my son, like, you know what I mean, if you feeling a certain way, don't block that shit out. Like, express how you feel.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to cry, it's all right. Like, it's okay to be mad. It's okay to be pissed off. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be experience all them feelings. Like, don't block them out.
Yeah.
And I kind of encourage him to do that. You know what I mean? Because I was taught, like, we're not crying. Like, you a man. Like, we don't cry.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
I used to. I remember crying one time, like, 'cause, like, and I felt so embarrassed. Like, at school, like, sometimes having I cried and I was embarrassed. Like,
Yeah.
I can't cry. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
because I was told, nigga, what you doing crying for?
Yeah.
But it's sad though. 'Cause I kind of agree. Like, you know what I mean? You can't really hamper over there. You got to keep it going.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you kind of need to get.
Yeah.
I just want him to be able to, like, feel how, acknowledge how you feel. Because sometimes if you just block it out, it's gonna show back up. Because your feelings. They're your feelings. So they gonna come back up. And I hope hopefully it's not in a worse type situation. So
Just say,
I
like,
kind of
okay,
encourage
like,
him to acknowledge his feelings and express how you feel.
Most definitely. That's why I do the same thing. Like, I tell my boy, like, bro, we all have emotions. You know what I'm saying, bro? Be freely with that. Be freely with it, but to an extent, though. Understand, though. You know what I'm saying? You out here crying with all these boys. You playing with boys and all this. You can't take it. You pray to them. You pray.
Yeah.
Understand that.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, you fool, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you gotta. But at the same time, nigga,
That's
you
tight.
gotta
That's
be
trying
able
to
to
get the
deal
guy.
with
So
that.
I have girls, so that's me.
Yeah.
I'm just looking like, wow.
You just
that's
gonna be
tight.
able to
Like,
have to deal with what comes with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now you know what I'm saying?
even
I'm not
with-
gonna tell you what not to do, but we get in the car or whatever, nigga. You can cry to me all day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All that, but understand, bro. That's a weakness out here to most of these guys.
I feel
You
like
stepped on. You
I
stepped
feel like-
on.
But it's really not. You're not
It's not.
weak.
It's not.
You're not weak.
No.
And I feel like that's a lot to do with, like, expressing yourself too. A lot of men don't express themselves because they know them being vulnerable in the situation is gonna seem like a weakness.
It might backfire.
Yeah.
They might throw that in your
You
face.
gotta know your safe people.
Yeah.
That's what, when I have kid clients, we talk about like, let's talk about how you know someone's a safe person and someone who's not a safe person. Realistically, you cannot cry to everybody. Like, that's just what it is.
Right.
How
You
might
know
a
the people
kid
you
know
can.
that?
But how can kids know that when you're a safe person, you might think they safe until you get them to that point where they ain't safe no more.
So kids are resilient in that, like, we talk about something happened and then they'll tell me, the kids talk about their friends all the time in kids therapy.
Yeah, for sure.
You put some toys out, they just start running their mouth. And so they'll tell me like, oh yeah, so-and-so did this to another person. And I'm using that example to be like, wow, do you think they're a good friend? What do you think? What do you think about
That's
that
crazy
person?
that you said that.
And so when we talk about it, I'm like, would you tell them your secrets? They're like, no. I'm like, I think that maybe that's not a good person to tell your secrets to.
Right.
But that's something that parents can do.
Yeah.
When your kids just talk to you and they'll just talk, then you just be like,
'Cause you know-
let me tell you, let me teach you without teaching you.
Right.
And then they just kind of like can pick up on their own. Between 0 and 7, like kids are like, who your child is going to be by 7 years old is who they're going to be foundationally.
By 7 years
Yeah,
old?
between 0 and 7 is like they're soaking everything up and they're building their foundation.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
feel that,
like
'cause
that's
one of
when you
my-
want to
yep.
be like, is that a good friend? Or like that's
Right.
when they learn how to be a good friend, how to talk to people. Like so you want to be having those conversations, playing toys with them.
I got daughters, so you know, I see it already. I see all the mean one, the
mean
love
one?
Oh yeah, what you can see it.
And you getting all of that.
All
like,
of it. I
that.
get to see it all. I get to see it all. The people person, the one that'll get the nice one that'll be, oh, what's wrong? The one that'll probably laugh at you. The one that's not gonna speak to you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I get to see it all.
Oh, that's what's up.
My bonus daughter, so she's 7, she's about to be 8. And she is the most sensitive thing. She's so sensitive. I love her. She's the sweetest thing in the world. She goes to the school. And so, like, when things happen, somebody, like, tried to make her eat a cookie with hand sanitizer on it. And I was, like, I wasn't there, but my auntie was going to, like, expel this kid. Like, we're done. You're getting kicked out the school. And so, but my daughter, she comes up, she's like, it's okay, Auntie C. Like, we're going to turn the other cheek, and we're going to pray for them the way God would want us to. Like, she's like that. But my son, he's 3, but he's already like, will knock anybody out. Like, if she's getting in trouble with her dad, I have to like take him in the other room because he's trying to get to his dad.
Yeah, like
to
leave her
stand up
alone.
for her.
Like,
Right.
He's very much so like that. But she's the softest thing. She's super emotional. And I'm always trying to, for me, so we talk about like with boys being like, you need to be tougher. But with girls, specifically with Black women, we've always been taught you need to be strong. Like, you need to be strong. You can't be out here being weak. So we kind of have that too. So with her, I'm always like, you gotta like pull it together a little bit because she'll be on the playground just crying. Like, she just cry when her feelings are hurt. And I'm always like, okay, stop crying out here on this playground. Like, pull it together. I'm trying to find my balance between that because I have my own stuff from growing up and like crying and being like, I'm not doing that no more. So we're all like, me and her mom are both like, okay, I don't know where she got it from, but we're going to figure out how to help her navigate it.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah.
That's why I say it's gonna be a point in time when your kids' friends' opinion mean more than yours. So you know what you do? You on their kids' friend, you on your kids' friends' ass too.
You be selective about who you kick you with.
Yeah, man. Oh,
So I got a question for you real quick. So say if a family, right? Well, a couple that's married wants therapy, right? But are you married right now? No. So how can they how can you feel like a couple that's married? How can they come to you for advice in their marriage if you're not married? How does that work?
yeah.
What would you say?
You know, but we know our people snappy.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know, we-
I think when I've answered that question before in the past, it's been pretty much like, I went to school for this. Like, I went to school for this. I got the degree to show for this. I can't control what another person does. So me and my child and my father, we just, one of us believes in therapy and the other one doesn't. So I can't make you heal. I can't make you do whatever. But yeah, I went to school for this. I know what I'm doing. When we have our consultations, I'm open, but also in my 15-minute, I give everybody a free 15-minute consultation. So in that, I talk about like, this is my approach, this is what I know. And usually by the end of that consultation, couples are like, yeah, hands down, we're going with you.
Okay.
I'm pretty good at like,
catching the vibe.
yeah,
okay.
like I connect with people. I'm authentic in my sessions. So I'm not like acting all stuffy. We laughing, we crying, we joking. And that works for people.
Yeah.
How it is taking all that in, like all that emotion from somebody and I don't know.
How do
I'm
you
strategic
bear
about.
with it?
I'm strategic about planning my sessions.
Okay.
So I specialize in trauma. So definitely I have individuals too. I don't just see couples. So like if I have someone who's like a personality disorder, I'm not seeing 3 personality disorders in this.
Yeah, okay, you gotta switch it up.
Yeah, like I'll do a personality disorder, I'll do a couple,
Mhm.
I'll do somebody who's like lightweight anxiety. But like back to back, when I first started, they did me like that at a place that I was working at getting my hours. And I was going home in tears every day. And so I had to be like, no, like we need to do something different. And so now it's just about like doing that and then learning how to ground. Like I have a whole grounding thing before I go home. So I'm not taking it out on my son or on whoever I live with. I just like find my peace, release it, let it go. And then we move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever cried in a session with a client, like say they just pouring out some trauma and then you end up crying too?
I'm not generally a crier.
Yeah.
So like you said, I don't cry. At 15, no. I was like 10 and I had a moment where I was like, we're not crying no more. We're not doing it. We're done. Just because, you know, my mom and all that drama. And so I didn't even cry when my dad died. So then having my son all these years later, that's like 20 years without crying. But having a kid for whatever reason triggered a whole nother emotional side of me to come back out. So yeah, in some sessions, if the client is like really, really, really crying, I may, if it really hits me, like connect a little and I'll cry. But not like boohoo. It'll be like
a little tear.
Yeah,
like,
a little
damn,
tear
it's-
because
it's-
sometimes their pain is so intense
Yeah.
that it's like, all right, I'm here with you. Like I'm here with you. But for most of the time, I can be like pretty even. And some people need to feel like that you feel that with them.
Right.
So it depends on the vibe. With my male clients, those are the ones where it's like if they cry, it's really hard for me to see Black men in session cry without me feeling sad too.
Yeah.
So that's like
Wow.
What being a Black therapist, what's the disadvantages and what's the advantages?
I don't really see any disadvantages, but I see a bunch of advantages.
What
Talk
are the
to us.
advantages?
Talk to us. I
So-
like
Talk to
that.
me
I
about
like
it.
that. I really
Talk to
do.
me about it.
The advantages are first, more and more Black people are going to therapy, and more Black people want Black therapists.
Right.
So we're in
Cool,
high
we chill
demand
that
right
on.
now.
And
Like,
why do you think that is?
Get y'all some
because
therapy,
it's
y'all.
hard to connect with someone that doesn't look like you.
Yes, it
A
is.
lot of people are bringing in their stuff, and like we use slang in therapy. Like I could be talking in therapy and be like, "sis," and she'd be like, "Girl," but like she's not gonna do that with a white
she's not.
therapist, right? Like we can
Sorry
talk
to
about
cut you
Black
off.
Twitter.
My daughter's like that with teachers.
Yeah.
I have 2 autistic daughters.
Okay.
My oldest daughter, if the teacher's not minority, she tripping.
Not messing
Is
with
that
you.
right?
You know what I'm saying? But a lot of tripping every time.
Is that something that's taught though?
I don't know.
Sometimes
Probably
you just
should feel
connect with who you
comfortable with
Yeah,
connect.
she
No,
feel
no,
comfortable.
I'm just
I'm
asking.
saying,
I'm just
I don't know. You feel
Yeah,
me?
yeah,
I
yeah.
am a revolutionary. That's what I am. I
Do you
feel-
teach that in your household?
Like what? No,
Like
they know
just-
they black.
just
Yeah, they know they're.
pro-black?
I mean, we know we black. Yeah, they know what they are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's a thing. You feel more comfortable with your own people, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you feel like they can't connect. So when you first do your hours, you have to do supervision, and so you sit with a bunch of people, and everybody's checking in, talking about their stuff. And I've been in sessions with other therapists who are training, and I remember there was this white lady. She made me so mad. I had to take a break from supervision. She's also a therapist, but she had a Black client, and she said she almost pressed a button on her client. Like, so there's an emergency
Yeah.
button where you can like say, "I need help." Like
Mhm.
it's dangerous in here for
Mhm.
me. And I was like, "Well, what was happening that you felt that?" And it was just like she was just so loud and angry and cussing. And I'm
Mhm.
like, "Was she cussing at you? Like, was she
Mhm.
mad at you?"
Right.
And she's like, "No, she wasn't. It wasn't towards me, but she was like talking about her situation." I was like, "She was just talking loud." So at this point,
Yeah.
I'm like,
You
"Yo,
understand.
explain to me," because now I'm
Right,
irritated.
right.
So I started talking loud. I was like, "She's talking to you like this?"
Right.
And so I'm using my hands, I'm doing all that. She's like, "Yeah, like the hands and stuff just makes it seem like she's
Right.
gonna hit me." And I'm like, "Really?"
Nah, we just visual
And so-
people. We
Yeah.
just
It's like you don't have
animated.
to worry about that if you talk to another Black person because I'm not
Right.
gonna be
Yeah.
intimidated by all
Right,
that.
yeah, we gonna start moving our hands
Right.
with you.
It's gonna be like,
boom.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to
So swing my legs this way.
but she was really triggered. Like she was shaking up. You can see she was visibly shaking up.
Wow.
And then I started getting loud, and I was like, "Oh, you're getting triggered more too." I'm gonna take a break for both of us. We both gonna take a break.
Right.
But it's those types of things where it's like, yeah, you should see a Black therapist.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've seen white therapists who have been on TikTok like joking, And he was like, I couldn't. He was a white man. He said I couldn't go to a black therapist because he's like, if I'm talking to you about my struggles, but then I'm looking at you and I know you have struggles worse than mine, it makes me feel like, how can I be talking to you about this? So
it makes sense.
It makes sense. And he gonna look at you like, what are you crying for? You know what I'm saying? That's how we're gonna look at theirs. Like, what are you crying for? When this uncle on crack, grandma, you know what I'm saying? Stepdad just got beat up. My real dad beat my stepdad to slip out fight.
Most of my clients are people of color. I do have a few clients that are not of color, but they too purposely seek out black people because they like the vibe. Like she like the vibe.
Different. Let me ask you this:
we are the culture, man. They feel that shit. They want
you involved in church, right?
I am.
In your family. Okay, so are you a religious woman? Do you consider yourself a religious woman?
Not
I don't want to, you know.
Not to the extent of what I was when I was younger, but definitely still to a certain extent. Like, still believe the basic principles.
What religion is that?
Christian.
Okay. With that being said, with you doing couples therapy, how do say a 19-year-old female comes in, she's talking about sex, she comes with her guy. Do you ever encourage sex should not be permitted right now for you? And if not, do you feel like you're doing a disservice to God's work?
No. If they wanted a Christian therapist, they would have went to a Christian therapist. So when they're coming to me for therapy. Me being Christian is just a part of who I am, and I don't come in the room as far as like the principles of it. That doesn't come in the room. Because there's no judgment in my space. Therapy doesn't
That's
work
your
like
Christian
that.
thing.
like
No
that.
judgment.
I
Right
like
there.
judgment.
There we
I
go.
like that.
Talk
I
about
like
it.
that.
When you go to therapy
No
with
judgment.
me, it's like, it's unconditional positive regard. It's unconditional love here. Whatever you say, I'm not flinching at it, whatever.
Right.
Now, if they were to ask me, like, oh, what do you think on a Christian thing? Cool, I'll bring that in. But for the most part, I because I don't stop being a Christian as far as like God's love. Like,
But
I'm
you
not
have
gonna
to
love anybody who
separate the
come in
two.
here. I separate the two. You have
You
to.
have to.
Ethically,
You
you
have
have to, or you can lose your license.
You have to.
So you have
to.
to. I don't bring it in.
Definitely. Good answer. I like that.
What I got a question, right? So even though you're a therapist, you deal with a lot of different things, right? So a lot of people are going through like a depressive time. Like a lot of people are depressed right now.
Yeah.
Right. So I would like to know what are some signs of depression that people could like identify with. Some people going through stuff right now. I know your specialty is sex therapy, right? But at the same time, like what are some signs you would say of depression and ways that people can kind of like cope with it, or like what are a few signs of depression?
So depression can look different in men and women. That's a big thing. Specifically, depression can look a lot different in Black men. So, in men and women, that. So with men, specifically Black men, depression can come off as like aggression and irritability and not being able to manage your anger as well. Because you haven't been taught to sit in your sadness and feel your feelings. The chief emotion that a lot of people feel, or a lot of men feel, is anger. And that's the one that's accepted by society. So when you feel yourself being overly irritable, really angry, really short with everybody, you might want to check in with like, what's going on with me besides the anger? It's the not finding joy in things that used to make you happy, not sleeping the same. So if your sleep patterns are thrown off, your eating patterns are thrown off, eating more, eating less, sleeping more, sleeping less. Withdrawn from people, like just not talking to people, not connecting with people as much anymore. All those things are like signs of depression.
That they're going through
the aggression is a big one for boys, like I said, boys and men. And then for women, it's more just like not having the energy.
What's the differences with that, boys and men?
A lot of boys, even a lot of Black boys, but a lot of boys, again, the same thing, being taught that like you can't be sad, you can't cry. But like aggression and anger and fighting, it's like, oh, my son got into a fight today at school. Like he out here knocking people out, like, So it's like it's okay to be angry. So they'll lean into that. You'll lean into that because that's the one that's been encouraged. Yeah, but it's not okay to be sad. So your brain will just rewire. Like, okay, we're not sitting in sadness, but we can be angry. So for men, anger is like more so an alarm emotion. So when you feel anger, that should be your like fire alarm to be like, where's the fire? Not the
where's
anger
this coming
itself.
from?
Yeah, what's
Right.
behind the anger?
Right.
And then let's talk about that.
Got you.
But then
Right.
you have to get people to be able to say, what part of me is like tripping right now?
Got you.
I mean, by any chance, where can the people find you at? No, because I want to pull up a specific post that I seen that was interesting to me on your Instagram page.
It's Meg_the_MFT.
Can we pull that up, Solly? By any chance?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, you say, my job as a therapist is not to help my clients to never feel sad, angry, or anxious. It's really the opposite. My job is to help them to truly feel the full range of their emotions without being overwhelmed by them, and to acknowledge and honor them as they are being healed, as they begin to heal.
That's
Talk
powerful.
to us a little bit about that, because
That's
that was
powerful.
that.
That's a
It's a
Jordan
powerful
Hines
purpose
case.
statement.
That's a
Yeah.
powerful purpose right there.
Because we go into therapy sometimes just automatically just feeling like,
Wanna
you
be
know,
better.
oh yeah, we gonna get better after this session or whatnot.
One
or,
session
you know,
cure.
yeah, she ain't teach. After that first session, you might think, man, she ain't tell me nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? But y'all have a whole strategy.
Yeah. So I think, well, this is kind of like close to my definition of being mentally healthy. So people think mentally healthy is just like you're happy all the time, or like you're good, you're solid all the time. And that's not being mentally healthy, because no one's happy all the time.
Right.
None of our emotions are bad. So what happens is that as we grow up, we learn defense mechanisms. We learn to hate some of our emotions because we don't like how they feel. And then we like villainize them. So I don't want to feel it. I push it to the back. But if you can't feel your feelings, then you're not mentally strong. If you can't sit with your feelings and honor them and process them, then you're not mentally healthy. So a lot of people think they're mentally healthy, and then something happens and they fall apart. And it's like, well, you never learned how to like master your emotions. You're just out here kind of getting by.
Right.
Right.
So therapy is not necessarily, for the people that never been to therapy or don't know, it's not necessarily us telling you you're wrong for feeling this way, or it's bad to feel this way.
Right.
It's necessarily understanding too why you feel that way.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that.
It is. So what I do, because there's a bunch of different therapy approaches. My main one when I deal with individuals is internal family systems. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it.
never.
Have you ever seen
They'll
the
probably
movie? Have you ever seen the movie Inside Out?
Yeah.
It's like the movie with Disney, and it's like all the feelings.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, yes. Tons of time.
Yeah. So that movie is like loosely based off of the therapy approach. So they had like a therapist on site with them helping them, whatever. But the idea is that we all have an internal family within us, right? You have your inner child, you have your inner critic, you have your Superman part. And that my goal is to help you to identify all the different parts of you and then bring healing to all the different parts of you. So then you would be able to, when you're struggling, call all the parts of you to like a round table and be like, who's tripping? What part of me is triggered right now? What do you need from me? And so the problem is that when you're not like mentally healthy like that, the true, authentic, genuine part of you is not running the show or driving the boat. Like your anger is driving the boat, or maybe your inner critic or your Superman is driving the boat, and they're not supposed to. So when they do, things go off the rails. You got depression, you got anxiety, because the authentic Jill in you is like lost somewhere. And all these other parts, they hold on to pain for you. They hold on to trauma for you. They're all trying to protect you. They might be doing things that hurt you, but ultimately they're trying to protect you. They just got lost as you had negative experiences growing up. So we talk a lot with Black women about having a superwoman part. And Black women talk about acting like superwoman all the time. We are superwoman all the time.
Is
But
that
that's
Black
not
Girl Magic?
healthy.
That's different from Black Girl Magic, right?
It's different from Black girl magic,
Okay,
yeah.
But as a
Superman
nurture,
Superman is what most black men seen when they was kids. That's why they feel like their girls should be doing what their mom do.
Yeah. You saw your mom be that, but
but
that's
as a
not healthy.
nurturer, aren't you?
As in, there's
No.
a balance. There's a balance between nurturing and being superwoman.
No, most men seen their mom do the low.
Everything.
Yes.
That's not a nurturer.
That's not good.
That's not a nurturer.
Yeah,
That's doing too
superwoman.
much, because then we end up burnt out. We end up not taking care of ourselves, but we taking care of everybody else. And that's a part of you that should show up sometimes, right? Okay, Dad's at work. It's just me today. Cool. Sometimes. But to operate as Superwoman all the time.
I'm at work, then I gotta come home, I gotta
Yeah.
cook, I gotta do that. That's
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 not
bearing.
For their mental health.
Yeah.
on, man.
And so your Superwoman part is.
Ain't no woman working 40 hours when they come home and cook and do all that all day. That's how I think. That's how I be thinking. Because
So when
I
she's
don't
healthy,
do that shit. If
I wouldn't. When she's healthy, when that part of you is healthy, she pops up and then she goes away. Pops up, goes away. When she's not healthy, though, when she's learned over years, this is just who you got to be, she's going to push you even when you need to relax. So when that other voice is saying, we need a break, your Superwoman part, who is not healthy, is going to say, we don't need a break. If you take a break, you're weak. Are we weak? Can we not handle these kids?
Right,
Can we not handle this life? And then it becomes this inner dialogue that's really messed up.
Right.
And so that's an example. So the goal is for you to get healed so that you can heal that part, so that she can operate in the way she should. Not in a way that's bad.
You don't want her all
That's
too
powerful,
tough.
man.
You don't want her too tough.
Nah, man.
Too tough. That's
Too
then you
tough.
scared of her now.
Now she's
Right.
super.
Yeah.
Now she's
And
super
now-
She's
woman.
too strong. She's too powerful.
And you don't also
She don't
wonder,
even
do
see
you?
you in the light. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want a
yeah.
woman to not see a man in the light where I don't need you, nigga.
Yeah.
Like, you feel me? I can do this without you. Most of them see that now, though.
Hey, I
don't
feel the
need-
same way, but you have some women that feel like, okay, you just want me to be weak.
No, I don't want you to
It's
be
some
weak.
women that feel like that.
I want you to be your best when I need you to be my girl. I need that. I don't need you to be motherfucking Wonder Woman.
Superwoman, yeah.
I don't need you whipping
Right.
the whip. I don't want that strong shit
Right.
when it's me and your time. You can do all that with all them. I don't need that
So
shit.
what do you say?
I don't want no competitive.
What do you say
fucking
about the
relationship.
women that's Wonder Woman or Superwoman,
fucking with-
Superwoman,
stop fucking with
Superwoman,
these
and they
doodle-ass
still got a
niggas.
nigga. They still got a
Stop
dude.
fucking with these doodle ass
I
niggas.
think
Period. I don't know.
that's it, right?
I don't know. I don't like that shit. That everything going. I don't know nothing about that, bro. I tell people, you know what I'm saying. I'm not in that bracket where, as a man, I hopefully when I get to that stage where I can pay everything, I'm going to pay everything.
Talk your talk.
But as of now, I need a little.
You need
help.
some
I
assistance.
Right.
It's different right now.
But
she
We're
not
in
by
California,
herself
bro.
doing it
We know what it
all.
is.
Right.
You know
You know
what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, providing and everything, you going to take the
I'm
load.
going to take the
You gonna
heat,
take
but
most of the load.
but I'm saying like when they talking about that, I always have to check myself. First, he's talking about niggas that's making $500,000 a year.
So
Knock it off. I'm not making that. You feel
Right,
me?
right.
I'm not doing bad, but I'm not making that.
yeah.
So of course, somebody doing that can do everything. You feel me?
Right.
And he can have his pick of it. But even with the shit we got, I need my help, and I'm happy for what I got. And when I get to the situation, I would. But I do not want my girl to feel like she has to be this
Fuck
fucking
no.
ultimate warrior.
Hell no.
Wow.
Hell no.
Then what she need me for?
Yeah.
Facts.
You ain't got to do too much, man.
Man,
Just
and
play
you be
your
seeing
part.
girls that go like, I never asked a nigga
Everybody
for
just play
nothing.
their
Like,
part.
she gone. She's gone. It's girls like, I will never ask. I'm too powerful, too strong. They didn't try
They've
their
been
luck and all
programmed
that.
that way.
Exactly.
Either they've seen their mom do it and they just think this is what it's supposed to be, or they've been with men who have made them feel like this is, you're supposed to do these things for me. Or you're supposed to take, like I said, some men, you seen your mom operate in a way and you think that that's how women should be.
I didn't. That's how
And
my mom
that's
was.
not-
I just feel like as
My mom's
men,
a
as you
motherfucking
get
wife.
older, as you grow older mentally, you gotta understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really like you ain't gonna put your woman like under the whole workload of
Some niggas
everything.
do though.
A lot of
some
men
people,
don't
some,
grow
some
mentally,
people
But
do
that's a
though.
part of growing mentally, dog.
A lot
Like
of
it's
men
just
don't
like
grow
nigga,
mentally,
like
though.
My girl brother
and
told
at
me
the
that one
same time,
His
what
my
are
girl
you
brother
around?
said, most people don't change. They just get better at it or know how to hide it better.
But what are you around, bro? You know what I'm saying? What
Yeah.
are you around to make you feel like this is cool or this is okay?
Because I seen my mama drop 40 every night. Why you can't drop 40?
Right.
It's a mental thing. I seen mom drop 40.
Well, don't come into this shit if you can't drop 45.
It's like,
Straight
no,
up.
like
Clean.
Because
Go to
everybody
work.
thinks,
Put
oh,
everybody
because I
to
seen my
bed.
mom struggled.
Now
Well,
I'm
no.
supposed to struggle.
No, I seen my mom go crazy. Why you ain't going crazy? I was chilling. I'm a mama's boy. I'm chilling.
And on Mother's Day, they do the post like, my mom was everything.
Yeah.
She was holding it down. My mom was a strong woman. And then they want their woman to be a
be
strong
all-
woman. But what we have right now, I don't know if you guys have seen it on Instagram, but a lot of black women are trying to lean more into like the soft life. Have you ever seen that?
Yes,
But
because
like soft life, like I'm tired of being an alpha. Like a lot of black women feel like they have to be an alpha. And it's like, I don't want to do it anymore.
But see, like with that could either be, that could make you or break you type shit, because it was times in my life I seen my mama do everything, bro. I'm talking about ride the bike to work, work double shifts, ride the bike home type shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? All of that, bro. But I'm saying at the same time, me growing into a man, I said, my woman will never do no shit like
I'll
that.
be damned, dude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the man that they dealing with now.
So it depends. So either you can sit up here and be like, oh, okay, that's what I seen my mama do. So it's cool. Like, you
But
know?
it's different strokes for different folks. Just like she
Different
just
people
said, her
route.
mom and who most people would take the other route. I'm to the
Take
streets.
the other route. Yeah.
But she was like, I'm gonna take it to helping people and doing everything. It's different.
I wanted to be in
Yeah.
the streets.
Right.
My mama blocked that. But I
Exactly.
definitely wanted to be.
That's
I
right.
wanted to be in the hood so bad because she was from the hood. She was from the Pyrus, and I was like,
That's
hanging
what you
around.
call a real. Your
And I'm
mom
like,
was
I
really from
want
the streets
you.
then. Your
And
mom was
there
really
was-
from the streets then.
She was telling
'Cause
everybody,
Hey, man,
don't give her no
her
play.
moms
Don't let her
and
come
pops.
around.
And that's how it's supposed to be, though.
Your mom was
That's how
really
it
from
gotta
the streets.
be.
Your mom was
Ain't
official then
none of my-
because
none of my
official
homies
parents
that's
don't let their
involved-
kids go to see the dumb shit.
None
and
of
they
my
have to go bump
homies
their head on.
involved know they can never encourage my son
No.
to be a part of anything, bro. They already
Shout
know
out
that.
to the Schambergers and the
You know?
Germans.
They ignored me. You Vanessa daughter? Yeah, okay, you should go home.
Yeah.
As
I'm
it should
here.
be.
Right.
Get
I'm
the fuck out of
outside.
here.
That's
I'm
how
at
it's supposed to be.
Looters.
Shout out to
No.
them, man.
That's how it's
Yeah,
supposed to be.
get out of here.
Go to swimming class, go back to the
For
school.
your mom come and kick
Right.
our ass. Get us out of here.
I got a quick question. So as far as you being a therapist, do you build Medi-Cal, or how can somebody come to you, or a couple come to you and receive your services?
I don't take insurance because insurance doesn't pay people, and hopefully they do better. But right now they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance doesn't pay well, so I do private pay. If a client, if they want to reach out to me, they go to my website or they can find me on Instagram. And I do a free consultation. I give people 15 minutes. We talk, see if I'm a good fit for you, because I'm not a good fit for everybody.
Right.
I'm really real with people. Like, let me hold the mirror up to you because sis, you said, and you're not doing it. So we have that consultation. And I do, you just pay me directly. I do have a few slots for clients who can't afford my rate. Because I get it. I remember being like a college student, not having no money, but needing help. Like, so I do keep a few slots available just for clients who can't like pay. And then we talk about what you can do, what you can't do. in that
Excuse me, I
consultation.
know I can't pay, but I'm not a student. I'm just a under,
Well, even if
under
you
the
weren't a
table
student,
type of worker.
even if you weren't a student, if you're a couple, you're a couple, you're an individual of anywhere, and things are just tight. Like,
Right.
I get it, and I just kind of operate on a honor system. When you got it, when you do get back on your feet, then tell me, and I could give this spot to someone else. You go to the full
I
rate.
respect
That's
that.
what's up.
Yeah.
I respect that.
For sure.
Shout out to Meg, to the LMFT, man.
You already know.
It's so dope to have you here with us. I've been trying to. When we started this, I had your mom on the whole time, and then, you know what I mean, things happened. But I'm glad you came through.
Got you.
I'm glad
That's the bigger picture.
Glad,
Yeah.
We're gonna bring you back. You ain't
Yeah,
going
for
nowhere.
For
Trust
sure,
us.
because
You coming through.
Oh,
gonna
you
have a
tell them
couple
about your.
freaky-
You got your
we gonna have some
podcast.
freaky
Yeah, tell them
people
about your
here.
podcast. How
Yeah.
tell the people how they can get in touch with you.
So you find me individually on Instagram at Meg_the_MFT, or you can just go to my website, megthemft.com. If you want to find out more about me and what I offer. My friend and I are thinking about, we're going to be starting a podcast called Hot Chocolate Chats.
Hot
And that is
chocolate.
on Instagram. If you want to follow us, we'll be posting soon when we're going to be posting our first.
Y'all gotta have the dads on there too, man.
We're going to have y'all
Yeah,
come
man, we
on.
coming through.
On that episode,
Dads
we can
coming
get a
through.
little bit. No, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all can come. We're like, we want to have an episode where we talk about like why men do and don't cheat.
We
And
was gonna
so,
get into that, but we gonna get into that next time. But
Yeah.
that's a whole nother
we-
topic.
Yeah, that's a,
we
That's
can't
a whole
give
nother
y'all too
hour
much
session. Right?
game.
I would love to come back. Let me know.
For
Let
sure,
me know.
man. We got you.
But
Thanks for
man,
coming through.
like we
I
said, man,
missed
y'all
that
going. I'll be sick that week.
my boy Dribs. Hope my boy Dribs and his
Shout out
kids
to
get
Dribs.
better, man.
Yeah, man.
Fighting
You
that
already
vid,
know,
boy.
man. Shout out to
Get up.
everybody, family, friends, loved ones. At the same time, y'all gonna tap into the Dad podcast. We one of the dopest podcasts. We gonna keep coming with this heat. It ain't gonna stop. You understand what I'm saying? Go on and subscribe though. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We
You
out.
heard?
Sir.
Boom, 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 boom.